Carrier, is he a key piece going forward, Bryan?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a guy, and I feel bad because I brought him up 2 or 3 times already on the show, but he's a guy, again, I was extremely wrong on, when he was still in Milwaukee. I thought that Freddie Allard, another guy, was a much better prospect defensively, and that Allard was NHL ready a couple years back. Obviously Allard is gone. Carrier is in the league and he got some all rookie team. He was on the all rookie team, got votes there. He was a guy that, you had Tanner Jeannot on the roster who was making all these headlines, scoring goals and everything like that. But Carrier was sitting there playing with Ekholm, who Ekholm had, and I talked about this in my preview for Ekholm that came out yesterday. Ekholm was able to not have to be that guy, that stay-at-home defensive guy, because he had Carrier is good enough offensively that he can generate, but he's still solid enough defensively to give Ekholm a little bit of room to work. And so they complemented each other extremely well. And he's got, a lot of playmaking ability. He's not quite on the level of Roman Josi. Nobody really is. But he's really smart, and you can see his vision on the ice. He's not making a lot of mistakes that are leading to rushes from the other direction. And so I think he's a guy that, even with McDonough, he's going to be pushing to stay, in those top 2 pairs, with McDonough being, obviously an option to be in there, in maybe the second pair as well. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up with who. I think Dante Fabro might be the guy that gets moved down, and Carrier stays in that the top 2 pairings. But I think he's really important, and I'm glad Nashville stuck with him as long as they did, because they've gotten a really good player out of him.
How much of it was just being able to come into the league with Josi and Ekholm for him, where that played a pivotal role in his development?
You could say, they took a chance, because when you're playing with Mattias Ekholm or Roman Josi, you're going to be facing the top competition on the other side. They could have set him in there on the third pairing, given him a couple years to develop, but they put him in there pretty quickly, and he developed really well, against that competition. He did extremely well there was an Ottawa game, a 4-1 victory back in December, I believe. No, it was in March. I apologize. And he and Ekholm combined for 4 points. They had held, Brady Tkachuk and just the top line for like 8 minutes at 5-on-5 to completely scoreless, a third of an expected goal allowed that entire time at 5-on-5. And so, it's really, I don't know how to, I lost my point there. Sorry. But it's just going to be really interesting to see how he's deployed and how he plays. And yeah.
But my question with him going forward is, do they expect him to get significantly better? Because you have Fabro, who he was a first-round pick, right? He was. I'd have to check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
And know that off the top of my head.
I'm just looking. Carrier was.
He's a 4th rounder, right?
4th round guy. And where do the expectations lie? Because you look at Fabro and you got to be like, why is he not being this dude as much? He's still that's 20 some odd point season still, but where do you set expectations going forward out of both of those dudes? Because obviously I think you look at Fabro and you got to go hey, let's get it going.
Yeah.
And then with Carrier, do you almost go just repeat last year, or do you go, hey, can you throw in more than 3 goals? Let's get that up to 6. Which, looking at stats, that would match Ekholm's goal output for last year. So and you don't look at his season and think that it was bad or anything. And I to me that would be solid, but should it even be more expectations wise?
I think that's the thing with Nashville has, you look at their forward development over the last, 20 years, and, it's hard to find a breakout forward that was drafted by the team and stayed with the team and has produced for the team, but they don't have that problem on defense. And I think they have allowed themselves the luxury of being able to be either patient with guys that they see a lot of potential, like Carrier, where, he spent a ton of time in Milwaukee, you know, before he even stepped on the ice in Nashville. But then a guy like Fabro, you know, they were patient with him, that he played his years in Boston, you know, took his time getting over, but, you know, they know the guys have talent, and they know that they're learning from some of the best defensemen in the entire league. You know, when you have a group of veterans like Matthias Ekholm and Roman Josi to learn from, you're getting, you know, a lot of help. And those guys are so good that they can cover up some of those mistakes as well, you know, because it's a system that's built around defense. And, you know, these are guys that they got trusted for a lot of hard minutes. You know, Fabro has been, again, he's one of those guys like Eeli Tolvanen who's come in with a lot of expectations, thinking he's going to be like a Roman Josi. Is it going to be like, you know, is this going to be another Philip Forsberg type of a situation? But Nashville's actually been pretty patient with their defensive players, and they come up and they come and fill a spot, and they become a mainstay, you know. And a lot of the problem with Nashville is they usually have too many defenders and they have to trade some away. You know, I was heartbroken when Sam Girard left. He was a guy, like, first development camp I went to, and I was like, I love this guy. I love the way he plays. He's going to be my favorite. Traded him away. You know, because they had too many, and it's just a problem that now they've got 5 guys that I'm pretty confident with now with McDonough, you know, in that starting 6. So, you know, I think they want to expect more out of both of them. They want to see better, you know, see growth. But at this point, if they can just repeat what they did last year, they still got a pretty good group with the addition of McDonough.
Yeah.
I like it. Last thing, the Preds defense. How will it differ? We talked a lot about their defensive identity. My biggest question schematically, Bryan, when you look at the defense last year and what they're bringing to the table this year, what do you think will be the biggest change on defense?
It's going to be interesting because, again, Hines plays this, you know, forechecking heavy defense. You know, it's about creating opportunities and turnovers in the offensive zone so that you can turn around and score quickly. But as we saw last year, that caused a lot of problems with penalties. And, you know, your defense can only be so good when, you know, you got your guys out there, you've got Josi or Ekholm out there playing, you know, 10 to 12 penalty minutes a game, which is ridiculous. You know, that's Saros facing constant pressure. And